Hello everyone, I'm Vasha, and today I want to talk about the healing system in Tibia and how I think it could have a bit more of skill expression added to it. I mean, I'm not trying to say that healing in Tibia is easy, it's just that it's simple and it's pretty linear. And I'm not even talking about only druids. I'm talking about healing in general because knights also have to heal themselves. So, first off, I want to make it clear that I have played a druid up to level 270, and that was between the years of 2008 and 2019. So, I have seen a lot of different times and playstyles of druids. And besides that, I have played a lot of supportive characters in other games, and I think I know some changes that could be done to make healing just a bit more fun in Tibia in general. And also, the changes I'm proposing here are not like with the goal of making Druid harder to play or easier. It would be an addition and it wouldn't be only for Druids. And on top of it, I'm not talking any numbers. Everything could make a vocation stronger or weaker, I know, but that would be up to the balancing team of Cipsoft. I'm just trying to think of ways to make everything more fun. And before I start explaining the subject of this video, I want to say that there will be two Google Docs on the description of this video. One will be this topic document, which you can see what I will be talking about, and there will be a longer version, a text document explaining in more details everything I say here. So let's get into action. So, about the styles of healing that exist in Tibia, you pretty much only have one type of healing, and it's reactive instant healing. It's that type of healing that when a player takes damage, let's say he takes 100 damage, you can instantly cast a spell and it will heal damage. And if it heals more than 100, you have completely undone that damage that was taken. Reactive instant healing is basically undoing damage with the press of a button. It's the most basic and typical healing in games, and it can be fun, but not by itself. By itself, it's just linear, and it gets boring after a while. So, what could be done to make healing a bit different? We could add other styles of healing, like preemptive healing. An example of preemptive healing would be health bar shielding, and that's like it's as if you created extra HP for the healed player so that they can take more damage than they would normally. Basically, the added HP will disappear after enough damage is taken or the effect expires. But until then, it's basically negating damage before it happens. And there is damage mitigation, which is when you reduce damage before it happens. You can cast a spell and it will reduce damage in, I don't know, 30% during 5 seconds or something. And that will also make it so damage doesn't happen, and it's a type of preemptive healing. And there is another type of preemptive healing, which is crowd control. because if enemies can't even try to cause damage, then that's probably the best type of healing possible. And an example of crowd control effect would be silencing enemy casters. Like a druid could cast a spell to prevent enemy creatures from using any type of special abilities. Like you could silence drakens during a hunt at walls, and that group of silenced drakens won't use fire wave during some seconds, and that's damage that the knight isn't taking. And if the knight isn't taking damage, that makes it much easier for the healer, the druid. And then you might be thinking, so is reactive healing always boring and preemptive healing always interesting? And the answer is no. There are other forms of reactive healing that could be added to the game, such as heal over time. And I mean real healing and not what we currently have with effects like recovery and heal party. I mean, let's say there could be a rune that creates a field of healing around a certain area, and every ally inside that healing will receive a healing over time that scales with magic level, and that would allow, for example, during boss fights, that the druid would focus almost exclusively on the knight of the team. And if shooters need any kind of healing to recover from collateral damage, you could have a field of heal over time being cast every few seconds to keep the shooters healthy. You basically gain a small amount of HP every few seconds, and it would be useful to counter steady but not extremely strong damage. And there is another type of healing that's a bit more complicated to explain, which is when you splash damage into smart healing. And basically, it's like you cast a spell that you mark an ally, and then every time you deal damage, you make it so the ally gains some health based on the damage that was dealt, and that's similar to heal over time in the sense that it counters steady income of damage without extreme bursts. And I'm not implying that all of these styles of healing should be introduced into Tibia at once or even introduced ever, but a few of them here and there, maybe one or two, would make healing more fun because it would require some proper management of styles, and that would give you some skill expression. Because let's imagine a situation in which a knight is much lower level than they should be to hunt at a certain place. But if you could reduce incoming damage and at the same time heal with normal reactive instant healing, you would allow for lower level parties to hunt at harder areas, and that would allow Cipsoft to introduce much harder challenges, knowing that you could go there before you actually need to reach absurd levels. And that would be interesting even for current higher levels because they would receive new areas where they would actually need skill to hunt at. It wouldn't be like today, which you basically have a number check, and if you're a certain level, you can go somewhere, and if you're not, you can't. I mean, I know that skill is needed in some places today, but that is mitigated by level eventually. But I would like to see it possible that super high skilled players would actually be able to do things that other players wouldn't way earlier, and that's a way with skill expression in healing. And I'm not just talking about druids in this case because you could add different styles of healing for knights and paladin sorcerers in a way. For example, knights could use those preemptive healing methods of shielding their own HP and mitigating damage. They could uh, cast some spell that heavily reduce their own incoming damage, or that they cause damage taken by allies to be redirected to them somehow, and that would allow for lower parties to survive some harder areas. And paladins could use that damage splashing style of healing with their holy damage because in most games holy is heavily linked to healing, so I don't see a reason why you couldn't make it so paladins can heal allies with their holy damage. They could mark an ally, maybe a knight, and every time they cast a holy spell, a certain percent of the damage they dealt would heal the market target, the market ally. And sorcerers could use a similar system, but more importantly, they could heavily focus on crowd control, and not just soft crowd control such as silencing, but they could use things like stunning enemies. And I know this could cause problems for PvP, and I'm not sure how this could be balanced. Maybe stunning wouldn't be a thing in PvP, or maybe it would have a much reduced timing. Also, this kind of effect should have high mana cost and considerable high cooldown. Also, I suppose a coordinated group could chain CC enemies, so that would be a problem in PvP. I don't see how it could be implemented, but in PvE, I don't see a great issue since mana cost would be a hindering factor that would turn it only viable for extremely dangerous hunts where usually economy is not a factor. So those are my ideas of how healing could allow for a bit more of fun in Tibia. So if you guys found this constructive in any way, don't forget to leave a like and let me know what you think about it in the comment section. And if you want to see more content about analyzing the game and bringing ideas to make it more interesting, then don't forget to subscribe. So, see you in the next video and see you in Tibia. Bye bye.